It started on an ordinary afternoon that would change everything. A crowd had gathered near the entrance of a small-town grocery store, whispering, recording, and pointing fingers. A woman in a plain sweatshirt stood frozen, her wrists trembling as a security guard barked orders at her. "Ma'am, don't resist or you're caught on camera." The guard snapped, holding a pack of baby formula like it was stolen gold. People murmured, "She stole baby milk, shameful." But among them stood a man, a broad-shouldered, calm, his eyes scanning the scene with the sharpness of someone who'd seen worse. His name was Ethan Cole, a single father, an ex-army veteran trying to rebuild his life one quiet day at a time. He didn't plan to get involved. He never does. But something about the woman's eyes and a mix of fear and quiet dignity struck a deep chord. He'd seen that look before, in war zones, in faces of the innocent being wrongly accused. "Hey," Ethan said, stepping forward through the crowd, his voice steady. "What's going on here?" The security guard turned sharply, annoyed. "This lady tried to walk out with unpaid items. We caught her red-handed." Ethan looked at the woman. Her hands were shaking, but she didn't speak. There was a small tear at the corner of her eye. Then he noticed the item: a baby formula, diapers, and a small pack of bandages. Not jewelry, not electronics, just things for a baby. "Let me see the footage," Ethan said calmly. "You a cop?" The guard sneered. "No," Ethan said, "but I've seen enough injustice to know when something doesn't add up." People began recording again, whispering that the veteran was defending a thief. The tension grew until Ethan quietly walked into the store and asked the cashier to pull up the footage. The manager resisted, but something about the way Ethan carried himself, respectful, commanding, made them comply. The video showed the woman scanning her items, placing them in the bag, then her phone ringing. She looked distracted, turned around, and left without paying. No sneaky movements, no intent to steal, just a mistake. Ethan turned to the guard. "That's not theft. That's a mother who got distracted." The crowd fell silent. The woman's eyes widened as tears finally broke free. I was going to come right back," she whispered. "My baby's sick. He's in the car." Ethan added gently. "Go to him," he said. As she turned, one of the officers arriving on scene stepped forward. "Not so fast. She still broke the law." The officer took out his cuffs. That's when the woman's tone changed to calm, firm, and steady. She reached into her pocket, pulled out the leather badge, and flipped it open. The crowd gasped. "Captain Grace Williams, Metro Police Department." Everything froze. Ethan's eyes widened slightly, but he said nothing. The young officer's face went pale. "Captain, yeah, I didn't realize." Grace sighed. "You shouldn't treat anyone differently just because of a title," she said quietly. "You did your job. But next time, look for the truth before judgment." Ethan stood there, stunned. A police captain, the same woman everyone was ready to condemn. Grace turned to him. "Thank you for standing up when no one else did." He smiled slightly. "Old habits die hard. I couldn't stand by and watch another innocent person get hurt." Later that evening, Ethan sat in his pickup truck outside the store, lost in thought. Grace walked up, now in her proper uniform. She handed him a cup of coffee through the window. "You've got a good heart, Mr. Cole." "Ethan Cole." "You a veteran?" He nodded. "Army, 15 years. Got out after my wife passed." Grace's eyes softened. "I'm sorry." Ethan gave a faint smile. "Yeah, left me with the 6-year-old who thinks superheroes wear sneakers and eat too many pancakes." Grace laughed for the first time that day. "Sounds like my kind of hero." Over the next few weeks, they crossed paths more often than either expected. Grace came by the community center where Ethan volunteered, helping veterans reintegrate into civilian life. She was there to donate supplies, but stayed to help teach self-defense classes. Ethan noticed how she carried her pain quietly, like a soldier in her own battle. Grace, meanwhile, saw how he led with patience and empathy, the kind that only comes from heartbreak and healing. But life had its challenges. Grace's reputation took a hit. A viral video of her arrest spread online before the truth could catch up. People questioned her integrity, her leadership. She faced internal review, long hours, and sleepless nights. Ethan saw her struggle, and for once, He couldn't fix it with logic or muscle, only support. One night, she broke down outside the precinct. "They think I'm a disgrace," she said, voice trembling, "all because of one mistake." Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're not defined by what people see. You're defined by what you stand for." You taught that officer a lesson he'll never forget. That's leadership. Grace looked up, tears shining under the streetlight. "And you taught me that kindness still exists." Months passed. Grace was cleared of all accusations. The footage, Ethan's statement, and witness testimonies proved her innocence. But she didn't return to her old life the same. She joined Ethan in his mission, helping struggling single parents, veterans, and anyone who'd fallen through the cracks. Their friendship grew into something deeper, not rushed, not forced, just built on trust and shared scars. Ethan's daughter, Lily, adored Grace, often calling her mom Grace before either of them were ready for the label. Years later, at a small community event honoring local heroes, Grace spoke to a quiet crowd. "Sometimes, heroes don't wear badges," she said, glancing at Ethan in the front row. "Sometimes, they just show up when everyone else walks away." The audience applauded, but Ethan simply smiled, that small, humble smile of a man who never wanted recognition.